It was, too fast. I wanted love too fast, so.
I think he feels lonely. He feels he has a void there that he needs to fill.
Riley deserves to see her mom in a healthy relationship, to be loved. And yeah, Riley just saw the worst. So I do want her to know that she'll never see that again.
So it's been a while since we caught up with 90 Day Fiancé's resident goblin man and the women that he's traumatised. After their appearance on 90 Day Diaries, let's find out what's going on with Ed and Liz. From engagements to breakups, from cancer to a failing television career, and religion?
I stopped talking to God. I thought he was mad at me because he wouldn't give me what I wanted, which was a wife. After a really long year, which included a really hard breakup, I wanted to give back to my faith.
Right, okay. Now the thing is, we've seen Ed for long enough now to know that he talks a good game. We've seen him many times talk about the idea of bettering himself, but he never does. He never actually puts in the work to do it. Now, if being closer to God is going to help him, then good for him, but I'm not sure I'm buying it just yet. I'm not convinced that Ed is doing this for the right reasons. Immediately after saying this, he then proceeds to ask God to quote-unquote reward him with a woman. Yeah, lock away your daughters, because Big Ed is on the prowl again, this time in Arkansas.
I have moved on to a new house. Yeah, I just made you some coffee. And my mom has moved back to Arkansas, and she's literally just down the street.
So by the looks of things, Ed is still living in Arkansas, and he is still pursuing his new career as a real estate agent. But, good gosh, just look at the way he tries to promote the properties that he's trying to sell. This isn't exactly the greatest way to show off a property, I'd suggest. Lord knows, I wouldn't trust this guy with anything, let alone to sell my house worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, aside from the real estate career, Ed also has multiple streams of income, right? He's actually bought a vineyard in Argentina. We all know he likes his wine, but get this, his vineyard actually produces Malbec, which is stocked in Walmarts across Arkansas. He calls his bottles, "This is Big Ed Malbec." He's even set up an office in San Diego. So, somewhat surprisingly, this sounds like a proper business, one that leverages his personal brand. Now, personally, I'm not sure who'd buy a Big Ed bottle of wine. That name is hardly the most appetizing thing to see on a label, but I definitely think if he was going to go for personal branding, he's missed a trick here. He should have designed a bottle with no neck. There you go, Ed. You can have that one for free. Now, when it comes to other streams of income, even though Big Ed used to be one of the most sought-after creators on Cameo, that trend seems to have passed. His stardom seems to be waning. Whereas back in the day he'd have lots of sales of people wanting personalised videos from him, nowadays he's having to really try to push it himself on his social media, and he's promoting it really badly. Just look at this promotional video, for example.
I'm on sale. That's right. And my hair's still messed up, but I'm going to get it cut. No, I'm not. I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to grow it out. Listen, 10% off one more day. Happy Mother's Day!
Now, it's not just his Cameo that seems to be dying, right? His social media across the board is in bad shape. Let's take his two primary social media, right? TikTok and Instagram, for example. On Instagram, he may have 600,000 followers, right? And on TikTok, he may have 1.4 million followers. But as this comment rightly points out, 1.4 million followers and just 30 likes. That doesn't look healthy, does it? With that big a following, you'd expect more than 30 thumbs up. But to make matters worse, Ed has also started a podcast, but again, no one really seems interested. His only 2 episodes are sitting at between 300 to 400 views. It's no wonder he's had to revert back to mooching off what made him viral in the first place. Despite the fact that 5 long years have passed since he and Rose were together, Ed, to this day, continues to post clips of him and Rose, presumably in a bid to remind people why it was that he became famous in the first place. Now, on that theme of suspicious engagement, I'm sure we probably all saw the news back in September 2024 that Ed was filmed proposing to an unknown woman. This was a woman that, get this, he'd only known for 24 hours. So naturally, we and Ed's mum are all curious. What actually happened to that, Ed?
What on heaven's sakes is going on with with you in Florida.
What's happening? Big Ed's getting engaged! Oh my God!
So here's what I was able to discover, right? Her name is Portia Raymond. She's apparently, and it's hard to believe, I know, but she's apparently a fan of his, probably one of the few that still gives him a thumbs up. And she met him at a meet and greet at a sandwich shop where she asked him for a signed photo. Now, if that wasn't already a recipe for disaster, Ed, over the moon and probably giddy with excitement that he has a female fan, then promptly invited her out to dinner with him the following night. And if Ed's to be believed, it was magical. Their souls connected.
I told her that I know I've only known you for 24 hours, but, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And she's crying, I'm crying.
Big Ed's getting engaged!
That's a completely normal thing to do on a first date, isn't it? No, Ed, it's not. Now, Ed goes on to tell his mum that because the videos and the photos went immediately viral, being in the public eye, the pressure and the spotlight associated with being with Big Ed became too much for poor Portia to deal with.
The picture went viral. It just scared her to death. She was texting me saying, oh my God, everybody's calling me and texting me and, it's too much.
Now, I'm sorry, call me a cynic if you like, but the very fact that Portia even said yes to Ed in the first place tells me everything I need to know about her. And while Ed may now be trying to make it seem like it was Portia's decision to end things, one thing he does admit, like he himself has said on both Instagram and on the show, is that his choices were impulsive.
It was too fast. I wanted love too fast, so.
I think he feels lonely. He feels he has a void there that he needs to fill.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Ed definitely has a void that he's trying to fill, but I'm not necessarily convinced that that's why he proposed to Portia. In fact, Portia isn't convinced either. In the aftermath of all of this, Portia has actually come out to accuse Big Ed of doing this all for publicity. And yeah, that sounds a lot more plausible, doesn't it? And also, just to add, based on the fact that Portia is now attacking Ed, it kind of looks like he may have also just lost his only female fan. Sorry, Ed. Now, undeterred by this, Ed clearly hasn't given up on love, as he told the newspaper The Mirror in January 2025. Quotes, the day that you give up that there's someone else out there for you, your life is kind of over. I mean, it's a nice sentiment, but the truth is, Ed has a heck of a lot of improvement to do if he wants someone, anyone, to put up with him. Like I said before, Ed is all talk, no action when it comes to self-improvement. Just look at what he posted a few months ago, back in March 2025.
If there's one thing in my life that I don't enjoy doing, it's frickin' laundry. I hate it more than anything. But I have nobody to do my laundry.
Hasn't he learned anything? Remember, Liz was constantly having to clean up after him, and now he's back here again. He's back looking for a wife who'll actually be his housemaid. So the question is, why aren't Ed's friends doing what normal friends would do and telling him to grow up? Well, perhaps that's because Ed doesn't have any normal friends. He now seems to hang out with much, much younger ladies. Ladies who still look like they're in their 20s.
I was never able to have, friends when I was with Liz. She just didn't want me to have any friends. I talk to them almost every day. We get together about once a week.
Okay, Ed, yeah, sure. Blame Liz for your lack of friends. Right, okay, real self-improvement there. Ed is very much deluded if he thinks Liz, or any other woman in his life for that matter, would be okay, wouldn't mind at all if he just hangs out with 3 much younger ladies and talks to them daily. I mean, come on, we all know Ed likes the younger ladies, right? So what's wrong with having friends your own age, Ed? If they really are your friends, quote unquote, why do they need to be pretty young ladies? The kind of ladies that you normally try to go for. Now, interestingly, Ed's Instagram is also filled with these so-called friends who are also suspiciously all young women. But doesn't it just say everything that his posts with them are always weird and flirty? Sorry, no one can convince me that he thinks of them as friends. I think he thinks of them as potential romantic partners. But, crucially, they don't see him the same way.
You've got to tell us your type, and they can't be under 40. I agree. Yeah.
And
Whoa,
Yeah,
what?
no, that's your problem. Everything you're doing is wrong. 40 and up.
Tell him, girls. Ed isn't just unlucky in love, right? He's predatory. This is a guy who specifically goes for younger ladies who'll fall for his bull. Perhaps young women who are impressed by his fame. We've seen his playbook before, haven't we? Whether it's women from poorer countries or women with low self-esteem, Ed finds their vulnerabilities and he exploits it. Like, that's what he does. We know this.
I'm afraid because I am a kid, obviously.
We know.
I'm worried if I date an older, smarter woman, I'm going to be in trouble all the time.
You're always going to be in trouble no matter what.
It's as if the point just completely sailed over his head. Exactly, Ed. If an age-appropriate woman isn't impressed by your actions, maybe you need to change. Now, even when these girls set Ed up with a gorgeous lady, an age-appropriate lady to go on a date with, Ed, because of her age, immediately feels intimidated by her. He immediately decides that he's not into her.
She is a beautiful blonde. She has a smoking hot body. She's definitely much older than the women that I've dated recently. So it's going to take some getting used to, I think.
What is he even going on about? This lady is so far out of Ed's league that it's laughable he needs to get used to her. It's insulting. Now, the pair of them do go on a date to a haunted house, but nothing really happens. The only thing that's worth noting about this date is that, in usual Ed style, he tries to impress this lady by splashing the cash. Like, Ed books a stretched limousine to take her to a fair. He's taking her to a carnival. It's way over the top. But then again, we know what they say about big cars and little men. They are compensating for something, aren't they? Now, remarkably, when this lady gives him the slightest bit of interest, right, she seems to be having a good time with him, let's just say that, Ed's stance suddenly completely changes. She's been somewhat impressed by him, and now, suddenly...
So my friends were right. You need to date somebody my own age. I felt Christina was very assured of who she is as a woman.
Correct. That's the difference between dating a younger woman and an older one, Ed. Now, moving away from Ed's love life, there's been a lot of talk about Ed's future on reality TV recently. You see, in November 2024, Ed claimed that his contract with TLC was set to end in a month's time, in December. He went on record boasting about how he'd been approached by both Netflix and Hulu for his own spin-off show, but that he hadn't been able to sign with them while still officially tied to TLC. Now, it's not clear where he stands at the moment. We don't know whether or not he's renewed to TLC. You see, whilst this episode, this new footage that we're seeing from 90 Day Diaries was filmed during his last contract, he has subsequently appeared on Pillow Talk with Kalani, and just to make it even more confusing, TLC appear to have given him a new role making social media videos for them, in which he reacts to snippets from the show. So that does raise the question, has TLC renewed Ed's contract, or haven't they? Like, is this maybe some kind of middle ground? Are they keeping him employed, trying to keep him around, albeit on social media, until he finds himself another victim? I don't know. Whatever the case, hopefully, fingers crossed, if it's going to be another show focusing on his love life, I hope there's a very, very, very long wait. Now, away from his love life, when we're talking about shows not related to Ed's dating, Ed has said that he plans on launching his own show called Big Ed Heart and Home Rehab. He says the show will be all about remodelling homes, and in fact, 4 episodes have already been filmed and are being pitched to networks. Now, in case you're thinking, well, that does kind of link into his new profession as a real estate agent, well, I don't think the real estate game is cutting it for him anymore. Because Ed has gone on record to say that he doesn't want a day job anymore.
We've pitched it to a few networks, so hopefully they'll pick it up and I can still be on camera and having fun and not having to do a freaking day job, right?
And maybe he won't need one, because while he hasn't announced anything yet, Ed has been dropping some serious hints that he's been doing some filming in LA.
I'm filming in Los Angeles and I'm on my way home.
Now, he wouldn't reveal who or what it is that he's filming.
I'm not going to tell you who because I'll get in trouble.
But he has been been sharing a lot of gym content recently, so that makes me think maybe he's trying to get in shape for something big. I don't know, watch this space. So that's Ed, right? Now, with Ed out of the way, the next question is, how's Liz doing? The last we saw her, she was proudly parading her new boyfriend, Jayson. And when we catch up with her in a recent episode of Diaries, Liz is meeting up with her close friends and former fellow castmates, Tyree and Kim.
I've almost been together for a year, but he is going to be restationed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And there's no option of him staying in San Diego.
Now, at the point at which this was being filmed, Liz and Jayson had been together for 11 months. Jayson, as part of his military job, was being restationed to Seattle. But the problem was, Liz had no intention of being in a long-distance relationship. So, with long distance out of the equation and given the trauma that she had to live through the last time she relocated, Liz is now back in the same situation. She now has to reconsider again whether or not she wants to up sticks and move state for another man. Like, what would that mean for Riley, who recently turned 12? Has the poor girl not been through enough already?
But ultimately, I have to talk to Riley about this. She's my daughter, and this impacts her as well.
Now, remember, Riley does live with her dad. But, of course, that doesn't change the fact that another move so soon after the failed move to Arkansas might not be setting the right example or sending the right message to Riley. Like Liz says, she doesn't want to put Riley through that again, which is right, that's correct. That's a good mum move.
I do want her to know that she'll never see that again. And, we're gonna move forward together.
So, after we join Liz as she finally rids herself of Ed once and for all, as she donates the wedding dress that she was due to marry Ed in, we then join her as she meets up with Riley to ask her how she'd feel if she were to move again.
Riley deserves to see her mom in a healthy relationship, to be loved, and yeah, Riley just saw the worst. So I do want her to know that she'll never see that again.
But, unfortunately, it very much seems like history may have repeated itself. You see, wanting to be a supportive daughter, Riley gives Liz the green light. She tells her that she should move. And Liz seizes on that. She moves to Seattle with Jayson. But, unfortunately, this is the last photo of Liz smiling in Seattle. It dates back to the start of this year, January 2025. As of April, she appears to be back in California, and fans assume that she and Jayson have split. Why? Well, she's deleted every single photo of him off of her Instagram feed. Now, after this episode of Diaries aired, Liz officially went public and confirmed that she and Jayson did split up, and she says it happened in December. So, what actually happened? She seemed happy, like she just moved again. She just moved state for him. Why has this happened again, Liz? Well, while neither of them have actually publicly confirmed the reason for their split, with a little bit of detective work, right, we can piece together what we know. We know that in August of last year, Jayson's ex-girlfriend came out to say that he was a cheat. She claimed that she was still with Jayson whilst he was getting to know Liz. In fact, it goes further. She even went as far as to claim Jayson kicked her out of their home in order to make room for Liz. Now, at the time, Liz chose to stand by her man. She ignored all of the red flags. Maybe she was preoccupied with her weight loss. You see, this is around the same time that everyone seemed to notice Liz was looking very thin. Now, in December 2024, Liz posted a photo of her at a cancer benefit dinner. Jayson was nowhere to be seen. It was an interesting venue, like a cancer benefit dinner, but no one thought anything of it until a few weeks later. And that was when Liz posted another solo photo, this time shockingly revealing that she'd just finished 14 rounds of chemotherapy. Now, she didn't say what cancer she had until after this Diaries episode aired. It was only literally a few days ago that Liz publicly confirmed that her cancer was in her stomach. Now, needless to say, of course, everyone was shocked at this news. It's scary to think that someone so young, someone who looked so healthy, had cancer. But that's just life, isn't it? You never know what could be round the corner. But it is curious. It does say a lot about a guy when, at a time of need, in her darkest hour, Jayson was nowhere to be seen. Now, there are a lot of theories, unconfirmed theories, right? But there are theories that Jayson may have cheated on Liz and gone back to his baby mama. But, again, nothing of that sort has been confirmed, at least not officially. So, we know that Jayson wasn't there for Liz, but what about Ed? Did he at least reach out to her, offer some support? Well, obviously we don't know if he reached out privately, but following Liz's cancer news, Ed uploaded a video to his social media claiming that he had a bad case of bronchitis.
I'm fighting some bronchitis. You guys make sure that you take care of any colds you might have. Don't wait like I did and let it turn into something worse.
I mean, giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I really, really hope that this isn't a case of Ed not even allowing Liz to have her moment when she's in ill health. I hope that isn't the case, so giving him the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say the timing on that video was very unfortunate. Now, moving on to happier news, there are signs that Liz may have moved on. Her Instagram stories now hint at the presence of a new mystery man. On Valentine's Day, she uploaded a photo of blue roses and 2 wine glasses, captioned "Our Valentine's Date Night," and as recently as a few weeks ago in April, she posted a photo of a motorbike with 2 helmets, calling herself a passenger princess. Liz has clearly been very careful not to reveal the guy's identity yet, but what she has been very public about is her support of another of Ed's exes, Rose. The 2 of them, Liz and Rose, teamed up when Liz promoted Rose's skincare brand. And that's what I like to see. It makes a nice change, doesn't it? 2 women backing each other all the while Ed finds himself still repeating the same toxic patterns.